It is lap 14. You know exactly what you have to do. You have known since before the race started. Since before you put on your helmet. Since the moment, months ago, when two men sat across from you and explained, calmly, quietly, what they were asking. The city of Singapore is lit up around you like something out of a dream. The first night race in Formula One history. Hundreds of thousands of people watching. Millions more on television. Your hands are on the wheel. Your visor is down. The barriers blur past in the dark. Turn 17 is coming. You don't brake. Your name is Nelson Piquet Junior. That last word, Junior, has followed you everywhere. On your whole life. Your father is Nelson Piquet, three-time Formula One world champion, one of the greatest drivers who ever lived. Brazilians put him next to Senna. The world puts him alongside Lauda, alongside Prost, alongside the legends. And you are his son. You have been karting since you could see over the steering wheel, measured against his times, his records, his name. Since before you were old enough to understand what any of it meant. By 2008, you have earned a Formula One seat. Renault. You are 22 years old. Your teammate is Fernando Alonso, two-time world champion, one of the most ferociously talented drivers in the sport. Everything you have worked for is right here. This is reason one. The name on your back is borrowed, and until you prove it is yours, you will do almost anything to keep the seat that lets you try. Renault in 2008 is a team in crisis. They were world champions in 2005 and 2006. Back-to-back titles with Alonso, the best team in the world. By 2008, they have not won a race in almost 2 years. The parent company, Renault, the car manufacturer, is watching. And that watching has a meaning that everyone in the garage understands. Results, or the team disappears. Not a metaphor, a real possibility. Singapore is race 15 of 18. 4 races left. Nothing on the horizon looks like a win. The engineers know it. The mechanics know it. Briatore knows it most of all. This is reason 2. When a team is desperate enough, the definition of what is acceptable quietly shifts. And no one tells you it has shifted until you are already inside it. Flavio Briatore is your team boss at Renault. He is also your personal manager. Now think about what that means for a moment. There is one man in your life who decides whether you keep your Formula One seat. And there is one man in your life who is paid to protect your interests. In your situation, those two men are the same person. The hand that feeds you is the same hand that can take the food away. Briatore manages 6 drivers on the grid simultaneously. 6 careers, 6 futures, all running through him. Your father does not come to races your first year. There is no lawyer, no independent advisor, no one in your corner who is not also ultimately in Briatore's corner. When someone controls your present and your future at the same time, they do not need to threaten you. They do not need to raise their voice, they simply ask, and the asking contains everything. Later, you will describe this period with a single sentence. You will say, I was alone. This is reason 3. What Briatore and Pat Simons, the team's executive director of engineering, ask of you is not reckless. It is precise. Here is how it works. In Formula One, when there is a crash on track, a safety car comes out. While the safety car is deployed, the pit lane closes. No car is allowed to stop for tires or fuel. Every car on track is frozen in position. Nobody can move. Now imagine you pit your driver just before that safety car comes out. He gets fresh tires. He gets fuel. And then the pit lane closes, and every other car on track is stuck. They cannot pit. They cannot respond. They just have to sit there, losing ground, while your driver has already done what they cannot. When the safety car pulls in, your driver is at the front. Clean track, fresh tires, uncontested. It is the perfect heist. All it requires is controlling exactly when the safety car comes out, and the only way to control that is a crash. Alonso pits on lap 12, light fuel, from deep in the field. A strategy that makes no sense to anyone watching, unless they know. He rejoins at the back and waits. You are the crash. They do not put this in writing. Of course they do not. What they ask exists entirely in the air between the 3 of you. No paper, no record, no way back. This is reason 4. The plan made sense, not morally, but mechanically, strategically. It was clean. And when someone presents you with a clean plan in a room where you have no power, the logic of it almost makes the decision for you. You are the son of a three-time world champion. You know exactly what these cars can do to a human body. You know what a wall at 200 kilometers an hour means. You grew up understanding it before you could drive. And they are asking you to aim for one. Later, you will use a phrase to describe what that meeting felt like. You will say, "They psychologically cornered me." But in the moment, something else is also true. You have to believe, that the team will protect you afterwards, that this will be your secret together, that they would not ask something like this and then abandon you with it. You believe they are asking because they need you, because you matter, because this is the kind of thing that creates loyalty in both directions. This is reason 5, and it is the reason that will hurt the most. Not the crash, not the silence that follows, and the belief that they would take care of you, and what you will discover that belief was actually worth. September 28, 2008. Singapore. Night. Formula One's first ever night race, and the city looks like science fiction. The street circuit snakes through the financial district, past the waterfront, under the lights. 300,000 people line the barriers. Millions more watching at home. On the warm-up lap, you spin. At turn 17. The exact corner. In front of the entire paddock. In front of every camera. You recover and continue. Nobody thinks anything of it. Drivers spin on warm-up laps. You knew. Lap 12. Alonso pits. Light fuel. The trap is set. Lap 14. The cockpit is tight around your shoulders. Your gloves grip the wheel. The night air moves over your visor. The city stretches out to your left. All of it lit. See all of it alive. All of it completely indifferent to what you are about to do. You think about the men in the garage. You think about your contract. You think about your father who is not here, who does not know. You don't brake. The front right wheel clips the barrier. The car goes sideways. The wall comes. The safety car is deployed immediately. The pit lane closes. Fernando Alonso, who pitted 2 laps ago, who already has clean air and fresh tires, drives forward. Past every car that is now frozen. Past every team that is scrambling and cannot respond. When the race restarts, Alonso is leading. He will win. You climb out of your car at the side of a Singapore street in the middle of the night and you watch it happen. Then you call it a mistake. This is reason 6, the momentum of the lie. While once you are strapped into the car, stopping the plan requires more courage than executing it. The post-race press release calls it brilliant strategy by Alonso. Briatore describes the safety car as good fortune. Good fortune. Some journalists raise an eyebrow. The timing was unusual, the circumstances were strange, but nobody has proof. And nobody wants to believe a team would ask a driver to risk his life to manufacture a safety car. One journalist writes that one likes to believe no team would be so desperate. You read that, and you say nothing. You carry it through the final 3 races of 2008. You carry it into 2009. In every debrief, every press conference, every time someone asks about Singapore, it was a mistake. These things happen. Meanwhile, Felipe Massa, who was leading the Singapore Grand Prix when your car hit the wall, who was robbed of points that would have changed everything, loses the 2008 World Championship to Lewis Hamilton. By a single point. You know what you cost him, and you say nothing. This is reason 7. You had already done it. The only thing saying anything would do is destroy you. 2009. No points through the first 10 races. Renault signs Romain Grosjean to replace you. And in August, after the Hungarian Grand Prix, Briatore calls you in. You're done. You gave them everything they asked for. You risked your life. You spent a year carrying their secret. You destroyed a man's chance at a world championship. They fire you anyway. Your father arrives. He is furious. He tells you, fight or go quietly. You say, let's fight. And this is reason 8. Not why you said yes, but why you finally stopped saying nothing. Because the loyalty only ever ran one direction. Here is what you didn't know. At the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix, the season finale, the race where Massa lost the title by 1 point, your father had already told the FIA's race director, Charlie Whiting, everything. He walked into Whiting's office, held his foot against the door so no one could enter, and said, "Flavio made my boy crash." Whiting said it was serious, then kept it to himself. Bernie Ecclestone, the man who ran Formula One, also knew. Max Mosley, the FIA president, also knew. Both knew during the 2008 season. Both said nothing. Ecclestone later explains it plainly. They wanted to protect the sport from a huge scandal. The sport, not you, not Massa. The sport. In July 2009, you give evidence to the FIA. Or in September, your full statement is leaked. The world learns what happened on lap 14 in Singapore. Renault is charged with conspiracy. They do not contest it. The verdict? Renault receives a suspended ban, which means as long as they don't cheat again before 2011, they face no real consequence. Briatore is banned for life from any FIA-sanctioned event. Simons receives 5 years. You receive immunity. Without you, there is no case. Then the French courts get involved. The bans are ruled legally invalid. Briatore sues the FIA. He wins. The FIA is ordered to pay him in damages. He returns to the paddock. By 2024, he is a special advisor at Alpine. By 2025, he is their team principal. The man who ordered a driver to crash on purpose into a concrete wall at 200 kilometers an hour is running a Formula One team. Alonso's victory in Singapore stands. He keeps the win. The 2008 championship is never revisited. Felipe Massa is currently in court, suing for $82 million. He argues he is the rightful 2008 world champion. The case has no end date. This is reason 9. Why the order was given in the first place. Because the men at the top knew that the system would protect the sport before it ever protected you. And Nelson Piquet Junior, who said yes because of his name, because of a desperate team, because the man asking controlled his future, because the plan was clean, because he believed they would protect him, who turned the wheel because he couldn't stop the lie, who stayed silent because he had too much to lose, who finally spoke up because he was discarded anyway, and who watched the system protect the billionaires while it banished him, never drives in Formula One again. He gave them everything they asked for. That was the one thing he should never have done.